McFly. You're a slacker. You remind me of your father when he went here. He was a slacker, too.
Can I go now, Mr. Strickland?
I notice your band is on the roster for the dance auditions after school today. Why even bother, McFly? You don't have a chance. You're too much like your old man. No McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley.
Yeah, well, history is gonna change.
Set in 1985, the film follows Marty McFly, a teenager accidentally sent back to 1955 in a time-traveling DeLorean automobile built by his eccentric scientist friend Doc, where he inadvertently prevents the future parents from falling in love, threatening his own existence, and is forced to reconcile them and somehow get back to the future. Back to the Future is a 1985 American science fiction film starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd in the lead roles.
In 1985, teenager Marty McFly lives in Hill Valley, California, with his depressed alcoholic mother, Lorraine, his older siblings, who are professionally and social failures, and his meek father, George, who is bullied by his supervisor, Biff Tannen. After Marty's band fails a music audition, he confides in his girlfriend, Jennifer Parker, that he fears becoming like his parents despite his ambitions.
I'm never gonna get a chance to play in front of anybody.
Marty, one rejection isn't the end of the world.
Nah, I just don't think I'm cut out for music.
But you're good, Marty. You're really good. And this audition tape of yours is great. You've got to send it into the record company. It's like Doc's always saying.
I know. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
That's good advice, Marty.
All right, okay, Jennifer. What if I send in the tape and they don't like it? I mean, what if they say I'm no good? What if they say, get out of here, kid? You got no future. I mean, I just don't think I can take that kind of rejection. Jesus, I'm starting to sound like my old man.
Later that night, Marty meets his eccentric scientist friend Doc in the Twin Pine Mall parking lot. Doc unveils a time machine built from a modified DeLorean, powered by plutonium he swindled from Libyan terrorists. After Doc inputs a destination time of November 5th, 1955, the day he first conceived his time travel invention, the terrorists arrive unexpectedly and gun him down. Marty flees in the DeLorean, inadvertently activating time travel when he reaches 88 miles per hour.
Let's see if you bastards can do 90.
Arriving in 1955, Marty discovers that he has no plutonium, so he cannot return to 1985. While exploring a burgeoning hill valley, Marty encounters his teenage father and discovers that Biff was bullying him even then. Later, George falls into the path of an oncoming car while spying on teenage Lorraine changing clothes, and Marty is knocked unconscious while saving him. He wakes to find himself tended to by Lorraine, who becomes infatuated with him. Marty tracks down and convinces a younger Doc that he is from the future by showing him his time machine. After watching the video recording from the future, Doc explains the only source available in 1955 capable of generating the power required for time travel is a lightning bolt. Marty shows Doc a flyer from the future that documents an upcoming lightning strike at the town's courthouse a week from now.
Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future.
Okay, all right. Saturday's good. I can spend a week in 1955. I can hang out. You can show me around.
Marty, that is completely out of the question. You must not leave this house. You must not see anybody or talk to anybody. Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Marty, have you interacted with anybody else today besides me?
Marty confesses that he's already interacted with his parents. Doc realizes Marty's actions are altering the future and jeopardizing his existence. Lorraine was supposed to tend to George instead of Marty after the car accident. Marty attempts to course correct, but all attempts to get his parents acquainted fails, and Lorraine's infatuation with Marty deepens. Later on, Doc explains his hypothesis to Marty not long before Lorraine shows up to ask him to the school dance.
Wow, you mean nobody's asked you?
No. Not yet.
What about George?
George McFly? Oh, he's kind of cute and all, but not. Well, I think a man should be strong so he can stand up for himself and protect the woman he loves. Don't you?
Yeah.
Marty comes up with a plan and shares it with George. He plots to feign inappropriate advances on Lorraine, allowing George to intervene and rescue her. On the eve of the ball, Doc and Marty make final preparations, and Marty tries to warn Doc about his future.
Doc, about the future.
No! Marty! We've already agreed that having information about the future can be extremely dangerous. Even if your intentions are good, it can backfire drastically. Whatever you've got to tell me, I'll find out through the natural course of time.
Dear Dr. Brown.
Marty writes a letter telling him about the shooting that takes place and warns him to take precaution. He then places it in Doc's jacket before attending the ball. Everything proceeds as planned at first until Biff shows up and his gang locks Marty in a trunk of the performing band's car, while Biff forces himself on Lorraine. George arrives expecting to find Marty, but finds Biff. Fearful at first, George musters up the courage to confront Biff, but gets assaulted. Lorraine steps in and tries to help him.
Gonna break his arm! Biff! Biff! Leave him alone! Let him go! Let him go!
An enraged George knocks Biff unconscious and escorts the grateful Lorraine to the dance. The band frees Marty from their car, but the lead guitarist injures his hand in the process, so Marty takes his place, performing while George and Lorraine share their first kiss. With his future no longer in jeopardy, Marty heads to the courthouse to meet Doc. Doc discovers the letter from Marty and rips it, worried about the consequences. In order to try to save Doc, Marty recalibrates the DeLorean to return 10 minutes before he left the future. The lightning strikes, sending Marty back to 1985, but the DeLorean breaks down, forcing Marty to run back to the mall. He arrives as Doc is being shot and realizes he's too late. While Marty grieves at his side, something unexpected happens.
You're alive. Bulletproof vest. How did you know? I never got a chance to tell you.
Doc pieced Marty's note back together and took precaution. He takes Marty home and departs to 2015 in the DeLorean. Marty wakes the next morning to discover his father is now a confident and successful science fiction author. His mother is fit and happy. His siblings are successful, and Biff is a servile valet in George's employ. As Marty reunites with Jennifer, Doc suddenly reappears in the DeLorean, insisting they return with him to the future to save their children from terrible fates.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Back to the Future is the first installment of the franchise, a timeless classic that brilliantly navigates the complexity of time travel, weaving a narrative filled with humor, heart, and iconic moments. The chemistry between Fox and Floyd is electric, and the film's clever script, inventive plot, and memorable score by Alan Silvestri contribute to its enduring appeal. 接下来我们揭晓今天的学习内容。The phrase "that is completely out of the question" is an idiom used to convey that a suggested idea, proposal, request, or action is not at all acceptable or possible. It indicates a strong and definite rejection. For example, If someone proposes a plan that is impractical or unrealistic, you might respond by saying that is completely out of the question, to make it clear that the idea is not viable or acceptable. The phrase "it can backfire drastically" is a warning that suggests a potential negative consequence or result from a particular action, decision, or plan. When something backfires, it means that the intended outcome or effect turned out to be the opposite of what was expected, and it often leads to unfavorable or adverse results. For example, if someone is considering a risky business strategy or a controversial decision, a warning might be expressed by saying, "Be careful with that approach. It can backfire drastically," suggesting that the consequence could be severe and detrimental. And that's it for this episode of Cinephile. You can find more on the Funday website. Let's make every day a fun day.
This is heavy duty, Doc. This is great. Does it run like on regular unleaded gasoline?
Unfortunately, no. It requires something with a little more kick. Plutonium.
Plutonium. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this sucker is nuclear?
Hey, keep rolling there. No. This sucker's electrical. But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity I need.
Do today learn. Today is Tuesday.
Commercial.
Traveler 是旅行者。
I have to wait for click.
So he or she is at the Columbia Towers Hotel gift store. 所以他在这个饭店的礼品店，然后他要买东西。Okay, so let's take this chance and listen to the.
学习，让生活充满乐趣。